Welcome, hunters, to the Hunters Hub episode 24. Today is going to be a fun episode, but before we get into that, I wanted to give a quick shout out to r/Monster Hunter World. We're going to do kind of a thing. They're going to promote us. We're going to promote them kind of thing. So, mutual deal. Yay. And today we're going to get into our crossover bonanza extravaganzas number 2. Ariel, you weren't here for the first one, but we've done this before. We just had fun kicking back and talking about things. But speaking of Ariel, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. It's been a busy couple weeks, but I'm on spring break this week. I work in a school, so I should be catching up on sleep.
Yeah, a lot of people are in that right now. How about you, Lobo, and how are you doing today?
I am alive. Work is fine. I did absolutely nothing today, so, best type of day.
Nice. I work at Honda, so I work every week for the rest of my life. Anyways, so let's get into this crossover extravaganza bonanza thing. So what this is, in case people are wondering, we're going to be talking about just sort of a high level. To begin with, we were talking about sets and armors that we think will, sets, armors, weapons, that kind of thing, we think could happen, and then we're probably going to move into stuff that would never happen or couldn't happen, or, long shots or even impossible shots. And then we're going to get into crossover monsters, which will never be a thing.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah. So, let's go ahead and get squared away. So, Ariel, what are one of these realistic weapons or armors that you were thinking of?
Well, you're gonna have to go. We're gonna have to go with probably like a Capcom, or even a Sony game or something like that.
They have been taking that theme,
right? And with the current God of War game, I'm thinking we see the Chaos Blades come out as dual blades from God of War. I think it's just it's the perfect kind of mix. It's a perfect time because that game's coming out. This is a way to promote both Monster Hunter and the new God of War game coming out this year. So that's one.
I would almost say have you been following the new God of War?
Yeah.
I would almost say the Chaos Blades wouldn't be in it, only because...
Well, no, they won't be in that game.
Yeah, only because they're making such a big deal about this axe and shield combo right now.
Right. But yeah, they won't be in that game, but I'm just thinking that as a throwback to the last one, and it fits into the thing, stuff like that.
No, yeah, it's a good idea for dual blades for sure. I could see a sword and shield being the new ice axe and shield combo.
Yeah.
Awesome. Lobo, what do you think?
So, I actually kind of want the Famitsu and Shonen crossovers to come back. So we can get our cool jackets and pretty much, I really liked those particular jackets. One that I did see as well, and it's unfortunately it might be for PC and 360. Frontier got a crossover with Dead Rising. So they got Frank's motorcycle outfit and helmet, and then the boxing gloves with knives attached to it, and so, some of the handmade weapons that he had. So I think that'd be neat, considering they have the HD release that came out recently. But not 100% if it's actually going to happen. I think it'd be cool.
Awesome. Well, for me, one armor set / weapon that I would like to see is I want to see, I don't know his name, but the guy from Ghouls and Goblins, Sir something.
Oh, Arthur.
Sir Arthur. I want to see that sort of straight up knight set with the lance, but use it as a sword and shield. Because so small. That kind of thing. I just want to see a goofy set, and like they always do those promotional emotes that you can buy for like $3. I want it to be that jump, that just crazy split leg jump,
That'd be pretty
Oh
cool.
yeah.
and just like it replaces your jumping off the cliff animation. Like I'd pay $3 for that.
Yeah. See, this is going off of that. Well, that'd be really cool, and the armor would be cool, but maybe that's a Palico.
Yeah, I could see that.
That.
Since he's small.
Yeah.
And they're small. Yeah.
I see. This is so tough. Like looking at characters, because how many characters, first of all, even have a weapon, much less one that can match a Monster Hunter character.
True.
Maybe a Cloud Strife, I think, would be a really interesting
I was
one.
going to suggest that.
So
The Buster Blade. There's straight up a Buster Blade in Monster Hunter. There was.
most of the ones I want are ones that I did a little bit of research. Are most of the ones that I want are ones that are from, like they've done in other ones that we didn't get, like ones from Frontier and
True.
stuff. One I found out is they did a Breath of Fire crossover with a bunch of special weapons based on Rathalos and actual outfits from the Breath of Fire games. And I thought that'd be a really nice crossover, and Breath of Fire isn't being used as much, so they don't have to worry about treading on anybody's copyright.
Now, you'll have to remind me. What is Breath of Fire?
Breath of Fire was a set of RPGs, I believe, that started, I think it was back on Nintendo, then moved over to Sony. I could be very wrong there, but
It's just, to me, it's a very generic name, because I remember there was some sort of dragon riding army game that my brother played on PS2. I was like, that might have been Breath of Fire. And it sounded like no.
mostly I just like the anime crossovers they used to do because they always gave very fantastical weapons, and that's why I like it.
Oh, yeah, we got none of that, pretty much.
Yeah. Is there any note of potentially the Universal Studios, the USJ stuff coming over to the rest of the world?
I'd say the spring event is our best chance,
Okay.
which is Thursday.
Yeah. So, in case people don't know, in the previous games, at least on the 3DS, they've always had a crossover with Universal Studios Japan, kind of to cross promote the theme park over there. And they've always had like rides decked up like Monster Hunter as well too. So here's hoping they continue that.
Yeah, it's where we get the animatronic Monster Hunter stuff we see on the online.
Going back to characters, maybe we get some oversized Marvel characters with like a Thor, like just a huge Mjolnir hammer.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
That'd be awesome. You make it lightning. You get armor that you can make, like an armor set. That won't happen, actually, now that I think about it, so maybe it doesn't belong. But that'd be cool. I think something that may happen, judging by past Monster Hunters, is what if we get a Zero armor set with an energy longsword?
Zero. Yep.
From Mega Man.
Oh, Mega Man Zero. Okay.
Yeah, with the he has the red armor, the ponytail, the green laser sword. So, I mean, that is one that a nice big Capcom character. I mean, so I think you got to go video game. So far, what we have Dante, we have Alloy, we're getting, and we have Ryu or whatever. So obviously, it has to be video games. Can't just be like, Marvel stuff. That'd be interesting, or Wolverine dual blades or something. But
So one that I thought of was, because we do have the PlayStation 4 exclusive ones, and I'm assuming Xbox is going to get their own exclusives as well.
Probably not.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
That would be my bet.
Main reason I ask is because, or I was thinking that is because there's a lot of things that we could have crossovers with that are PS4 exclusives. Like I could see I don't know if any of you guys have gotten to play Yakuza yet, but the main character from Yakuza, I could see his outfit easily showing up because it's easy to make, stylish, and we had similar before.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that being like sort of down the line. I think stuff that's coming out like now, because Yakuza they just had 2 games released last year, right?
Late last year, and also one coming out like now.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay, I could
there's
see that
another.
happening now. I did, yeah, I wasn't aware of that, but yeah, I could see stuff like that happening. Um, where they kind of do like a cross promotional, hey, this game's coming out, and that kind of thing. Because didn't the announcement, not necessarily the release of the Aloy stuff, but the announcement of it kind of coincide with the expansion
A little bit.
to the DLC to
I do have
Horizon?
I do have another crazy crossover.
Well, we'll get into
Okay.
crazies.
All right, that's right. That's right.
um, one realistic one that I could see happening, again from Capcom, is something from Resident Evil. I could see.
I thought about that. It just that's tough.
I can't think of anything from Resident Evil that would fit.
The only thing that I could think of, what I was going to get at, is not a weapon, but just an armor set. One of those skin sets, like a police outfit for like you were talking about like Resident Evil 2 Leon, just or like more. What is his name? The one from 1 and 3 and Chris Redfield.
Chris Redfield, yeah.
So I could see some Redfield outfits, maybe Wesker with the sunglasses. I mean, we already got the sunglasses.
I would love Wesker as an outfit. Just give me a long coat.
Yeah, I see them as armor sets more than weapons. You can't really do a lot with weapons because it's just guns.
Yeah, and it's not even interesting. Like most of Resident Evil guns are just guns.
You know what?
Right.
You could use the grenade launcher as a light bow gun. It has the same type of grip that you would hold it by, and it's about the same size, you know?
Yeah, that could be it. Wesker with a grenade launcher. There we go. Done. Sealed it. Capcom, let's get on it.
Oh, actually, they've done this in the past. You know, do you remember the crossover they had with Stryker, where he had his single blade and his left hand wasn't even there?
Yeah.
You could do that as a weapon, be it with Street Fighter, be it with Wesker, fighting with his fists that like he does in Marvel vs. Capcom,
Huh.
or
Yeah.
any number of characters they could do where they could just give his bare fists as a dual blade. I would love it.
Yeah,
Now-
you would just play around with the reach and stuff like that.
Yeah. One of the series that was a PlayStation exclusive that I think would have been cool, but I think it came out too early to sort of get that sort of over promotion that we've been talking about, is Neo. I think Neo would have been a good fit.
Neo from
Neo, as in the game Neo. Irish blood souls.
I thought Neo was like set in like Asia, like China, Korea.
But he's Irish.
Oh,
the main
really?
character's Irish, yes.
Weird.
I watched a full, 95-hour playthrough.
Has a lot of hours.
Yeah, I had a lot of time at one point. Not all at once, by the way. That could have been like a nice crossover, but I don't see that happening because Neo has sort of like left the gaming conversation for now. I don't think there's any more updates to it coming, or at least I don't know of any.
No.
All right, so since we're about ready to move on, here's one that is, I think, right in between the line of plausible to, maybe implausible. And that would be some collection, some form of armor sets and weapons for Final Fantasy characters. I think Cloud Strife with the Buster Sword is a very obvious great sword. I think Sephiroth and the long sword.
Yep.
Okay,
I think Leon from Final Fantasy VIII, you give him a gun lance, except you just make, like Dante, you make the shield just his arm or something like that. And I think that is...
You mean Squall?
Squall Leonhart, excuse me.
Leon
Leon is his name in Kingdom Hearts.
I was about to say, someone played Kingdom Hearts.
Because we were talking about it earlier. And even if they won't, but, Sora from Kingdom Hearts is an option. That they won't do that, but...
hey, don't steal my ideas.
There you go. But yeah, those are definitely those are on the line, I think.
I wouldn't mind them bringing
Okay.
back that cool armor set they did with the Final Fantasy armor maker. The scythe-looking longsword with that you had to fight at Diablos for, I think.
Yeah, there's been a history of scythe-looking longswords for a while. The Death Scythe, that kind of thing. The Val Hazak isn't a scythe, but it's got the same sort of aesthetic going for it, for longswords. So, okay, I could definitely see the Final Fantasy or even Kingdom Hearts stuff. I wouldn't necessarily see a Keyblade coming.
Well, there is in fact a new Kingdom Hearts coming soon-ish. I'm not going to commit to saying soon-ish because they consistently have proven that they don't know what the word soon means. But
it's the Duke Nukem Forever of Kingdom Hearts called Kingdom Hearts 3.
But maybe after Kingdom Hearts 2.79355555, then we'll get the new one.
Birth by Sleepy Dream Sleep. Something, whatever they call them. They have such weird titles.
I can't I loved Kingdom Hearts, and then after that, just like, your story's not making any sense. Sorry.
I just want to buy a Kingdom Hearts book. Just give me a book with all of it.
Yeah, something to allow us to map it out.
I listened to an episode of Kind of Funny Games where the focus of the episode was, let's explain the Kingdom Hearts story, and in the end they basically kind of summed it up as, yeah, it's a little crazy. It's like, okay, that doesn't help. Oh man. So we'll take that transition and go to crazy stuff. Like, what was, like, just go all out, weapons, armor, anything with your character, not going to happen, but would be cool. What do you think, Ariel?
I'm going full Japan on this one.
Mm-hmm.
I think Zoro from One Piece would be an amazing dual blades type.
We actually had that before.
Yeah, and you just like, so you just make his helmet like have the third sword. It doesn't really do anything, and then you give him the dual blades or whatever, his two swords, the end game swords, and you can even do it so that, I don't know if either of you have read One Piece, but he starts out with he has 3 different sets of swords. Essentially, or 3 different combinations of swords he ends up with, and your last one could just obviously be the one he has right now. But even if they could upgrade the armor to like pre-time skip, post-time skip, that's a real, Japanese people would go crazy over that. And it's one of those things that if it does happen, it'll happen in Japan and not here. But I think that'd be an amazing one.
It sounds cool. I have no idea what One Piece is other than Stretchy Pirate, but okay.
I mean, I think it's the best long form comic there is ever. It is the third highest selling issue of all time, series of all time, behind only Batman and Superman.
Wow.
So
that's impressive.
Right. And Batman and Superman have been out since 1930s, and One Piece has been out for 20 years.
Yeah. And Batman and Superman are pretty much like cultural icons at this point too.
And it was, I think, last year or the year before, it just surpassed Spider-Man, which is insane. And if it goes a couple more years at the rate that it's selling, it'll surpass Batman and Superman.
That hurts my heart. I love Spider-Man. It's the only superhero I really, really love.
Speaking of superheroes, I
Oh, boy.
want a Captain America outfit with a sword and shield, where it's just his sword is him punching things in the face, and he's got his shield.
Okay.
Imagine he's the falling the strike that's the sword and shield does, where he slams from above with his shield, right? Just imagine that, but dressed as Captain America as you're fighting off badass monsters.
With the patented vibranium.
Of course.
I think that the inclusion of Dante's weapon as a charge blade has kind of opened up the possibilities. So now it doesn't have to be a straight, one-to-one translation from page to this game or whatever. That's why we can have things like, Captain America not using an actual sword or something like that. So
Oh.
I think that they were really smart in doing that.
Side note: Captain America's armor set would come with guard +5 and guard up.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Because
Like, Wolverine's armor set would come with vitality, recovery, and medicine or something like that.
Yeah.
You know?
One thing I wanted to mention is that there is a sort of Wolverine dual blade in the Narragansett ones.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But I want the armor.
Yeah.
I want to look like a hairy Canadian.
Now, are we talking like Logan Wolverine, or are we talking like full on like Ultimate X-Men yellow jumpsuit?
I would want the yellow jumpsuit. If we're gonna put him in a video game, put him in a video game. You know,
I would want Old Man Logan. That one, you know,
that'd be cool too. But
he's stayed alive so long, the world's not even what he is. He's just kind of stuck.
That'd be actually pretty interesting.
Monster.
That he survived the real world and ended up in this mutated, like mutation riddled monster world.
Nice. So crazy armor set. I think last time we did this, I mentioned the Space Marine from Doom, that kind of thing. Is those are the ideas.
Cool.
But one of the ones that I've been thinking of a lot lately is I just want like the goofiest, biggest. So I think of the Urigan armor. It's very very big and very sort of like puffy, right? It's like bulbous or whatever. Think of a very big armored Shovel Knight outfit.
Ooh, that'd be cool.
I thought you were going to go for Gundam, but I like Shovel Knight too.
I mean, do you forget who you're talking to here, Mr. like anti-anime? Like I'm aware of what Gundam is, but I wouldn't have thought of Gundam in a million years. So like Shovel Knight would have like a decent shovel for like maybe a great sword. I couldn't really see it being a long sword, but any of that kind of stuff. See, like I feel like great sword and long sword is like sort of the easiest answer. So what I would probably say is maybe get like a sitar or something for like the hunting horn or stuff like that. Because there is the merchant, or not the merchant, the guy you turn your pages into in the game that has a guitar. You could make that a weapon also.
What about the whale? Make the whale the hunting horn.
The apple whale?
Yeah.
Yeah. You hold onto his tail and he shoots out the little musical symbols come out. It comes instead of apples coming out. The music notes are in apples. They do a little special animation, and each of your note is a different colored apple.
It's kind of like the egg one, where every time you play, it swirls around in the pan.
I don't know. I haven't used a lot of hunting horns. I just used the poison one.
I have another outfit weapon combination.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually two, but the first one, it would be a PS4 exclusive. How about the Persona series, guys? Get those. I don't remember what their society's called, Midnight Society or something like that. Get those outfits in our game.
I haven't played that yet. To my shame, everyone says it's amazing. I haven't played those games yet.
Yeah, I have the disc sitting over here, but I've been busy with Monster Hunter and Stardew and other stuff. So keep getting distracted.
Isn't it just like pinstripe suits and that kind of stuff?
They have cool masks and stuff too.
Okay. I was just making sure, because I mean, what I have to go off of is basically promotional material, because I know me and I'm never touching that game. So,
but the other one, hopefully, it would be on all of them, but it might end up being a PC exclusive. How about we get an Overwatch crossover with Genji?
I was gonna say Genji or Reinhardt with the hammer.
Oh.
No, dude, Pharah. You got to have Pharah.
And what would you use? Weapon? Bowgun, I guess?
Pharah. I could see Pharah.
I think if you do a Pharah skin, you give her the bow, but make the bow like the Devil Show one.
Yes.
There you go. That's how that works. Dang.
Well, so the reason I was thinking Pharah, now don't get me wrong, this is kind of a leap in logic, right? But we're going crazy, right?
Absolutely.
I want to do it for the helm splitter because she'll do the rocket jump up.
Oh, I get it. Just Z. Yeah, that'd be cool.
So that was my thought, or even Junkrat where he does the landmine jump. Now I do have a bit of experience in Overwatch. I did play season 1 and 2, and I got platinum equivalent in season 1. So I kind of know what I'm doing.
Wow.
But there's a lot of possibilities. Obviously, Hanzo was one.
Yes,
with the
Hanzo
bow.
for sure.
I think Widow was one with the long bow gun, or the heavy bow gun.
Heavy bow gun. Yeah, there you go.
Genji is the easy one. You give him the long.
Yeah.
Then the long sword. His sword looks cool in the game.
Oh,
it
yeah.
does.
The glow and everything.
Yeah, I think the Reinhardt one. I think that and Genji, they make the most sense.
Yeah,
would be
because
really
Reinhardt, that's a good one to say for a hammer,
cool. Right.
or a great or a sword and shield combo because it's got the shield and you could make it smaller for a
Or-
sword and shield.
Or they make his hammer a great sword.
Yeah.
You know, something like that.
Hammer? Wait for it.
There was a funny conversation today on the r/Monster Hunter where I'm still doing the weapon threads, and this week is the hammer. And someone was like, "Oh man, this axe should be able to cut tails and that kind of stuff." And it's always been kind of weird. It's like the sword and shields that are bludgeoning. You know, it looks like they would be bludgeoning because they're a club. And there's the, like the great swords that are, sort of more bludgeony looking,
Right.
and the hammers that are straight up axes, like
like the Valhazic one, yeah.
Yeah. So I could see a hammer being used as a great sword because of that.
Yeah, that'd be pretty awesome. Tough to do. I don't think they'll do it, but it's definitely something that we could put on a wish list.
Yes.
Yeah.
Even like,
Well, we're going all out, right?
Yeah, you could even do like for the female, for the Reinhardt, like the female would just be Brigitte or Brigitte or whatever her name is. So
I have one last impossible one, and I say it's impossible because I know the people who own the series, like which company owns the series. I would kill for a Warhammer crossover. The 40K, that big Space Marine armor. Make a switch axe that's like the chainsaw gun type of thing. Make it look real nice. But they have supreme rule over their IP, and they do not give it to anybody.
They give it to a lot of people.
Really?
Yeah, there's tons of games recently with Warhammer 40K. There's actually a really good extra credits episode about how much they have given out their IP for other developers to work with, and because they're so big, they can afford to do that.
Huh.
So, yeah, I don't remember the name of the episode, but it's a really good episode about how Warhammer 40, maybe not 40K in particular, but Warhammer in general is a very very
Warhammer
prominent.
is, but 40K is not.
Okay, I gotcha.
Yes.
Maybe that's the distinction.
Because I've played a couple of really great Warhammer games because they did Total Warhammer, and there's that Mordheim City of the Damned one that's in the Vermintide that have gotten both really popular. So I can see that.
you have any more Fortuan?
You can continue. I'm still thinking. It's harder for me to come up with this kind of stuff because I don't play a lot of different games aside from Diablo, Doom, and Monster Hunter. Like those are like my big three.
Right.
I have plenty for the next topic.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
me too. I love the monster stuff.
Okay, so if we're kind of done, I have another decent one that we can segue from armor to monster.
Okay.
Sure.
This is never gonna happen, and
Of course.
the lack of success from this movie has made it so that it'll really never happen. But Pacific Rim is my favorite movie of all time.
Really?
So like I said, I grew up watching Godzilla, I grew up watching Power Rangers, and so if you could do an armor set for the Jaegers, for the giant robots, right? And then you match that with a monster. It'd be amazing, right? Like, because they're doing the futuristic greatsword, and the lore of Monster Hunter is that it was like a technologically advanced society before it,
yes,
right before it, it crashed down due to the monsters, and so like you would have this old rusty Gypsy Danger-esque armor. And then, of course, it really doesn't matter what weapon, but you give him a weapon, you give him a sword or whatever. But the fact that you would have this, Jaeger robot-looking hunter, and then you would put him up against, you just take one of the more famous monsters from the movie, or even, obviously the obvious one is like a Godzilla, and now you have your Jaeger versus Godzilla fight in this game. I would throw whatever amount of money it took to get that in my game. If somebody can create like a PC mod for when the game finally does come out on PC later this year, I will send that guy money to his doorstep. Like I love Pacific Rim. It's my favorite movie, and the sequel isn't really all that good, and it doesn't make a lot of money. So unless Del Toro comes back, the original director comes back,
yeah.
And it's not like we would get a Gundam crossover before we'll get that, because Japan, that market rules this game. But that would be incredible for me to get a Jaeger armor and a kaiju monster that we could fight in the game.
I'm kind of glad that you like Pacific Rim so much, because everyone I know says, they're like, Fortuan, that movie is, of course they don't say Fortuan, but Fortuan, that movie is crap, and I don't understand why you like it. And I was like, I bought it on Blu-ray day one. Screw you, it's awesome.
The thing is that if you get what he's trying to make, it is the best possible version of this thing, right? But if you don't get it, it's nothing. It's stupid, and it is. It's silly. It's dumb. It's caricaturesque, but for what he loves Gundams, he loves Godzilla. He says he used to watch like old black and white people in costumes Godzilla fights. And so what he does is he's like, hey, I'm a master Oscar-winning director, and I'm going to make the best possible version of this subject.
Oh,
Good.
man. Okay. So, Lobo, lead us off. What's a monster? Give us a good monster.
So first, I wanted to say Godzilla first because there was a PS4 Godzilla game, but I actually want to do Shadow of the Colossus. I want any of them. Just give me any. You could even make it the big lightning tower dude at the end and give us one of those giant bosses where we have to run up the sides of it and stuff and climb it up in order to finish it off. Like, I want that because that would just be a better Zoro Magdaros fight. Is giving us that big thing to climb up and fight off. And then the weapons and armor you craft from him would be all these like stone, real regal looking armor sets. Very somber, and it'd fit with the looks of the game. And I think it'd be amazing.
I'm trying to think of a good, like, if I were to pick like one of the Colossus to fight in Monster Hunter, I would probably say it's the I don't know the names of them, and I don't even remember the order that they're in, but I want the one that's that lightning lizard that you fight in the Coliseum.
Oh, the one that climbs the walls?
Yeah.
Oh, I hated that thing.
He's one of my favorite fights in that game.
I would prefer to have either, again, that final boss, the tower lightning guy, or the big flying wyvern that was out in the sands. The big long snake one.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you have to like wait for him to come by, and you can get up on him, and then you're running from head to tail while you're flying in the sky.
I don't know. I think we need turtle monsters.
I agree.
Ariel, what about you?
Okay, I have one, and here's a way that we can actually do this, and maybe here's a way that, like I said, if we can get mods of this game, you take the Oda Garen gameplay, the monster gameplay, but instead you make it an alien xenomorph from the movie Aliens.
I was about to say that. That's why I put it in chat.
I don't. Oh,
So
okay.
are we talking like a normal xenomorph, or are we talking a queen?
I think you do the normal one. It's fast.
Okay.
It's dangerous. He'd be a little bigger, of course, in scale to match the
Sure.
Odegarin. And if it's a mod, the hitbox won't be great, right? But I just think it'd be really cool. I was thinking maybe Tigrex, but you don't want him to fly. So the Odegarin, I think, makes the most sense. And you would put him in the whatchamacallit, the rotten veil too.
I can see the introduction cutscene of your hunter walking through the rotten veil and encountering the eggs. And your hunter walks up and touches one.
Good thing he's wearing a helmet too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just no.
You could even have the little dudes. You could bring back the face huggers as cashews.
Oh man. So I'm gonna be real with you guys. Like, I do not get grossed out. I do not get upset. Like violence, that kind of stuff. A lot of things I'm okay with. I've been desensitized since I was a young kid. The chest bursting and the face hugging and all the stuff around that completely freaks me out.
Really? I thought you were gonna say you love it.
No, like forced unnatural pregnancy is like a no-no.
The way you said it, yeah. Why you gotta say it like that?
I mean, that's how I see it, right? He basically face rapes you and you give birth to his chest baby. Like,
when one of the face huggers hits you, your character does the blind animation while they're trying to pull it off.
Oh man.
No. No. Ugh. Okay. No, I'm serious. That's actually getting me sick. Okay. Moving on. Now this is like a multitude of different possibilities, right? But a franchise I want to see a lot of monsters come over from. People are going to groan because I talk about this all the time, but Dungeons and Dragons. There's a ton of things in Dungeons and Dragons that are their property that could be really amazing fights to do in Monster Hunter. Just to name a couple, any of the chromatic dragons, Tiamat herself, which is the 5 chromatic dragons in one. You could do the Basilisk, which I recently wrote an article on. You could do, which I don't think Basilisk is Wizards of the Coast owned. I think that's just a generic like mythological monster. I've always wanted a Hydra. I've talked about that before. Hard to do, but I want a real Hydra. I want to see a Beholder. That is Dungeons and Dragons trademarked. So
you're thinking a little too big. What about what about a Displacer Beast?
Displacer Beast would be a good Nargacuga like, yes.
With the teleporting and everything.
Teleporting. I'm not really sure about the arm tentacles thing. That would be kind of weird. So that kind of thing. You could do reskins of Kieran for a unicorn, Pegasus, and that kind of stuff. A nightmare, even a fire Kieran. It would be a nightmare.
That'd be cool.
Well, nightmares are the ones that have the weird. I hate to say tentacles coming off their manes, right? The fiery ones.
No, a nightmare is if you they're in Magic as dark, but in D&D there are a fire horse essentially. So fire coming out of their mane. They're black. They're evil as heck. They can their hooves are lined in fire. They got sharp teeth and they're carnivores. Imagine like a really fast carnivorous horse. That's just scary.
I was thinking of the Final Fantasy 12 nightmares, which, like I said, is similar, but they got all the weird stuff around their mane.
Yeah, Final Fantasy really distorts some mythological creatures for some reason. So yeah, well, there's just like a lot of just a multitude of monsters you could pull from that are D&D owned that you could do. I think if I had to pick one, I would probably I almost can't pick one, but Beholder would be my number one. But then Chromatic Dragons would be good Elder Dragons. So I mean, imagine the Great Red and that kind of stuff.
Also, you were just saying you want turtle enemies. Why don't we get a Tarrasque?
Yes. Well. You see, because the idea of him is the idea of Godzilla. this unkillable, just gigantic thing. It would have to be like a Zora Magdaros
You
fight.
have to have white sharpness to touch him.
Yeah, and on top of that, so if you want to sort of follow D&D lore, he never truly dies. He just falls asleep and sort of recedes into the earth and just wakes up again like millennia later.
Well,
Like,
yeah. So he'd be a perfect elder dragon because he'd be what's it called? He'd be one of those ones where you drive them away. You don't slay it and carve it. You repel it.
you do the old repel. But there's no repel in Monster Hunter World. I just realized that.
Okay.
There's no repel. So, one quick thing, I wanted to mention this at the beginning, but I forgot. We talked about doing updates and that kind of stuff. I mean, you guys don't need to hear about my crown hunting; it's going well. But one of the things that I was going to say, did you guys know that you could hold down X and it just zips by and picks up every item?
Yes.
And like rewards and stuff.
I thought you
Did
still
not
had
know
to
that.
press. I thought you still had to press it when you got near it. I didn't know you could just hold the thing down.
Yeah, so like the reward screen, that kind of stuff. We got a ton of things. It also works for the harvest.
Oh, I knew about that.
The tree. Yeah, I had no idea. I'm almost 400 hours in, and I've been pressing X furiously at the end of quests. It's just like, oh my gosh, I feel so stupid.
See, I thought you meant when you were running around, you could just hold X and it would grab whatever you run past. That would be cool.
That would be circle if that was
Oh
true.
yeah, good point.
But yeah, that was so yeah. So what do you guys think? What's another one?
I know it's terrible. It's by the same company, by the way. And people would be all sad, be like, "No, I don't want to fight him. I want to fight the monster from I am looking for the name of it right now. Not Shadow of the Colossus, the Last Guardian. I want to.
Oh yeah.
I want to fight that thing. You know, the crazy version of that thing, because it's this big creature that everybody knows and everybody loves, but everybody be like, I don't want to kill it. It's so nice.
Yeah.
Mine would be maybe like a Rathian kind of skin. Would be like a Nazgul from Lord of the Rings.
What?
Not a Nazgul,
the
but the
Fell Beast.
Yes, the Fell Beast that the Nazgul rides. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. So in case anyone doesn't know what that is, there's the flying evil things in Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, the leathery.
Yeah.
And then I think this would be really interesting. Special mission, capture only. You have a version of like Charizard, Venusaur, and Blastoise. And that'd be amazing. But it's like no. This is only capture. You can't kill these monsters. Like a hunter from whatever has a hunter trainer from whatever has lost his monsters. It's our job to get them back. And so you just like reskin 3 different monsters, and it would be Venusaur, Blastoise, and Charizard. The Blastoise you'd have to really kind of rework to not have literal cannons on his shoulders. But I think obviously the Charizard and the Venusaur could be a lot easier to do.
So one of the things that you could do with that idea in particular, you could do a crossover with Monster Hunter Stories that way. So you could say that it's a monster rider that's the quest or giver, the guy who needs it. Instead of saying like it's a Pokemon master, you say it's a monster rider, and then make it Pokemon themed on top of that.
Take my friendship stone. Go calm him down.
Yeah, that's a good one. I like that. So one that is never going to happen because the mechanics of the fight would just be non-existent. It wouldn't happen. But it would be cool. Is what is his name? Fenris or Fenrir from Dark Souls?
Oh yeah, Fenrir.
Sif. Oh, never mind.
No, Sith the Scaleless is kind of dragony. So
no. Is his name Sif?
Yeah, it is Sith.
Seath or Sith or
the puppy dog with the big ass sword.
That's Fenris. That's what we're talking about.
Well, it's Fenrir.
Fenrir, sorry.
That's the original name
Yeah.
of the Norse monster.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm talking Sif the Great Grey Wolf.
So if you watched Thor Ragnarok, the wolf in that's Fenrir.
I'm getting confused because my hunter friend is named Fenris.
Ah,
And he's
gotcha.
named after the same mythological wolf that's based off of. So the big wolf with a sword.
Yep.
Yes, that one. Lobo just linked it. So that would be a cool fight. I think it's fighting a giant wolf with a sword.
I think you could fight it. Like, it wouldn't be too mechanically off. Just learn to dodge roll.
Hey, it's there's a reason why Dark Souls and Monster Hunter gets compared a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, which means if they put Sif in, you could have it so when you slay him, you get the parts to make the Knight Artoris's armor.
Mm.
I think that would look
Okay.
awesome because his armor is just wonderful.
Yeah, when I did play that game, I was one of the Forest Guardians
Ah,
in the faction or whatever they had. I don't know, but that game infuriates me. But I like it still. Yeah. So yeah, that would be another thing. Another one that I was thinking of while we were talking about while you were talking about Pacific Rim, Ariel, is I thought of Cloverfield, the Cloverfield monster.
Oh yeah. That'd be hard. It's like, how'd you hit it? I mean, you'd have to make that like an Elder Dragon type.
Yeah, so what it would be like is like an Elder Dragon fight. I don't know if you guys ever fought him, but Shen Georin?
is that the giant crab?
Yeah.
That monster's so silly. Sorry.
It's not a very serious fight, in my opinion. It's kind of tough because you just had so much health at times.
Also, because when he fell down, he could just kill you by landing on you.
Yeah, if you didn't have enough armor, it definitely hurt a lot. But it would be like Shen Georin, in my opinion. Am I saying that right? I'm pretty sure it's Shen Georin. Yeah, but yeah, the giant crab, it would kind of be like that, the Cloverfield monster. Although the Cloverfield monster, you really never get a good look at it aside from like right at the end.
Yeah, that's true.
So, I mean, you're kind of taking the mystery out of that movie by showing it as a monster, but hey,
Ooh, I have one. And this is based on not the recent TV show adaptation display of him, but the old Monster Manual look of him. What about, because and you mentioned D&D, what about a Demogorgon? You can use that monkey style frame that they have in Monster Hunter already to make this just evil thing.
Huh.
And it could definitely fit in the Rotten Vale, and your mission would be, please go take care of this immediately. This is a problem.
Yeah, the giant two baboon-headed dual tentacle with two fingers. Yeah.
Look at this version instead, and then that version's cooler.
I mean, that's kind of what I described still.
Yeah,
not as realistically baboon, I guess.
But there is
there
is a TV show that has been showing recently that's been very popular that has a different depiction of this monster. I'm trying to avoid spoilers because I've never seen the show, so I don't know when it appears, so I don't want to be terrible.
Oh, good show though.
I watched all of season 1. I almost feel like they shouldn't have used
the name.
The name, yeah. I think they just picked like an uber powerful thing in D&D and said it's this.
Because it doesn't look like the D&D version.
Yeah, well, I mean, there are straight up D&D monsters that would almost be exact fits to what the thing is in that movie or show. And they would have just worked better if they said it was that. But then again, Demogorgon is a more ominous and maybe recognizable name. Maybe recognizable. I mean, you get to be pretty deep into D&D to know about Demogorgon and the other demon lords. So
I wish they would have gone with like a mind flayer, just a normal mind flayer.
Nope.
Because
Those things are creepy.
mind flayers are cool as hell.
Except for the one Mind Flayer character I had named Duke of Fateman.
Also, fun fact: there is a mind flayer that is CR22 in the new version of D&D. It is huge.
Nice.
Nice. That's terrifying, actually. Jesus.
Did you guys have any other monster ideas? I could go on forever.
I mean, Horizon Zero Dawn. Give us some mechanical monsters.
I was thinking that too.
We have the armor set. Let us fight, I want to fight Mecha Devil Joe.
Imagine
Okay.
Yeah, imagine a Nergigante fight, but it's like the Dragon Zord or something. Like, that'd be amazing. Just change something into a mecha version, like Mecha Godzilla something, and it would just be like, this is an entirely different game.
What was the 140 level monster mechanic called in 4U? It was
Expeditions.
Yeah. No, they weren't tempered. They
guild
were
quests. They were guild quests.
Right. But you needed a stone to hit these types of monsters.
Oh gosh.
Y stones? You're talking about Apex.
That's it.
Yeah, Apex.
Give us Mecha Apex tempered
No.
Savage Devil Joe.
No. No. Stick with tempered. Tempered's bad enough. I mean, tempered's my favorite, that kind of mechanic, but Apex? No. No. Pleaseth that. No. Oh, man. Jeez. Yeah, I don't know. I never really considered Horizon Zero Dawn that much, only because I wrote that game off so quick. They were like, because all the preview stuff was like, oh, it's kind of like Monster Hunter. You're hunting these monsters, and I was like, I'm watching the gameplay. No, it's not kind of like Monster Hunter. It's nothing like Monster Hunter, and that was sort of the pretext of me going into that game, and I was like, nope, out.
It reminds me more of Far Cry than anything.
Yeah, it's more of an open world,
where you're hunting,
story-driven.
collecting stuff to make weapons and upgrades. And
don't get me wrong, I'm not saying it's a bad game. It's just the way it was pitched to me at first. It was like, that's not what that. No, and then I just sort of wrote it off because of that.
Oh, I haven't. Most of my monster ideas are ones that would fit in the Rotten Vale.
It's good because it has 3 monsters.
Did you play Bloodborne, Fort?
I did.
Can we get
I never finished it.
Can we get the Cleric Beast? It is a big.
Now, remind me, that's the one you fight on the bridge, and it's like one of the first ones you encounter, right?
Yeah, it's the big one you find on the bridge. It's got an amazing roar that would fit perfectly fine with Monster Hunter's roars. It looks gross and amazing, and I think it'd just be a great fight.
Okay.
I mean, and also we could get hunter armor from it, and the Bloodborne armor looks pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, that sort of wet, leathery look. The wet, I don't know, Sleepy Hollow look.
Yeah,
that's a good way to describe it. Yeah.
Yeah. Ariel, did you have something else?
I don't know, man. No, I don't really. I think I'm done with the monsters. I'm just too harped up on Pacific Rim. I can't think of anything else.
There are so many good monsters that could go in, and obviously they're not going to do crossovers for all of them, but you can always fantasize about what if we did this? What if we did this? Like, I would love to fight Bahamut, not the D&D version, but the Final Fantasy Bahamut.
Right.
Yeah, I was like, why would you want to fight Bahamut? He's a good guy. Oh man. Yeah, I know about Bahamut. I knew about Bahamut and Final Fantasy before I knew about the D&D one, even though I had been playing D&D well before playing Final Fantasy.
I mean, what if they? What's that Elder Dragon that's like super long?
Dalamadur.
I don't remember the name, but just make him Shenlong from Dragon Ball Z.
Sure. Yeah. You're talking about Dalamadur. He's the one that is the Rotten Vale.
The Rotten Vale. Yeah.
Or just bring back Dalamadur.
Or that. But you can reskin several monsters to just to look like other monsters, and
That's true.
there'd be so much,
We just dye Nergigante purple and make his spikes yellow, and we can have Final Fantasy Behemoth?
Okay.
Like, it's basically Behemoth already.
Yeah.
Big angry boy with spikes.
I think it'd be really cool if we got like a Cerberus.
Okay.
Like, you bring like the Kingdom Hearts boss battle Cerberus.
Oh, that's Cerberus.
Well, that's how you would kind of fight it, but I mean, the Behemoth from Nergigante can literally just be reskinned and be that.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's just so much. It's just hard to get licensing, stuff like that. But like, what if we got a Rajang and just turned him into the Incredible Hulk? Like,
yeah,
yeah,
that would work. Except for the lightning part, but yeah.
It's gamma radiation. Who cares? Stuff like that.
Okay.
If we get a Kingdom Hearts crossover, that means we can get Disney crossovers, which means we could fight Maleficent.
The dragon, yeah.
Ursula.
Oh, yeah.
Fight Ursula.
The only human monster in all of Monster
Hunter. No, Ursula's the giant octopus woman. You stab her with a ship.
I know. Human-ish. How about that? Human-ish.
Okay. So I have one last one, and it's technically 7.
Oh, gosh.
And that is the entire cast of Primal Rage.
Oh, that's a good one.
Do you just want those as armor sets, or?
There's no armor sets. It's a fighting game.
I understand that, but
okay.
I meant costume for your character.
No, I want to fight we're talking about monsters. I want to fight.
I know, but
really?
That's what the armor would yield.
Oh no, yeah, that would be amazing. There's so you have Diablos. Oh, I wonder where that came from. Diablos is actually a fiery T-Rex, and we're not talking like fiery T-Rex like Anjanath. We're talking like he is red. He lives in a volcano and he gouts like fire. He does like a flamethrower that goes across the ground. So he's not super original, but he's a fire T-Rex. Then you have Sauron, which is the god of hunger, and sounds like Deviljho, right? But he's actually yellow and purple, and he uses sonic attacks. So he has like he can actually do like a Cantor's like scream and actually hurt you and that kind of stuff. His like sort of scream beam, that kind of stuff. Then you have the Raptor, which is Talon. And Talon could be just a giant, as we've seen. Have you guys done the event quest with the new Kuliyaku that is the size of like a Deviljho? This thing is huge. Gold crown for sure. Kuliyaku. So you could do a reskin of a raptor creature like Kuliyaku for Talon. Then you have the 2 monkeys, which the 2 monkeys are Chaos and Blizzard. Blizzard is kind of like a Blanganga. You don't really have to do very much different with him. And Chaos is kind of like a Kangala. You don't really have to do too much different from him. They both use farts, although Chaos pukes on you also. And then the last one, which is Armadon, and it's basically take every armored herbivore from a dinosaur and slap it together, and that's Armadon. And so imagine like a more upright Diablos with a turtle shell that is spiked, and instead of wings, he has like buff arms. That's kind of what Armadon is. And he has a Stegosaurus tail.
How many of them are there? How many?
7.
7?
There's 7 original fighters. I do believe there was a sequel that I never saw that had 2 more, and I don't remember what they are. I think one of them was a wolf of some sort, like a bipedal wolf.
So I have an idea for you.
Mm-hmm.
It is a weapon armor skin. You know, the one that's like all covers your every piece of your armor set, and it changes based on what weapon you're using into one of the different fighters.
Wait, what?
So he said there's 7 different characters, right?
Yeah.
So make it like,
Mhm.
like our samurai armor outfit or one of the full body outfits, and just make it so when you put it on, it changes based on what weapon you equip.
Oh, so yeah, you pair up the weapons kind of like the streamstones.
Yeah.
And then okay.
So longsword, longsword, greatsword, both lances, dual blade sword and shield. That way you can at least spread it out because it's not like there's enough for every weapon.
I gotcha.
Um,
I could see that. It'd be kind of weird though. I don't know.
Yeah.
I was thinking more monster focused with those because they are giant monster gods.
All right, if we're winding down, I just thought of this. I think you just go old school. You just do like Jurassic Park. There's one guest quest where you have to fight 3 raptors. Each one of the raptors fights like has a different element, like the poison, the paralysis, and the whatever. What's the monsters I'm thinking of? The one we just talked about the other week.
So you're talking about the great Jagras, the boggy, and the great
Right. So you'd have 3 raptors, and then another quest would just be like your Andronath looks like the classic T-Rex, but this would just be like and then you could get, let's say, like a special like Jurassic Park armor or helmet or something like that. Because Jurassic World's coming out. Like I'm thinking like, they could promo this, they could do this, and so I'm hoping someone's secretly listening and just taking all these ideas. But I think there's maybe that's a little too generic, but as long as you actually tie it with the movie, it could work.
Yeah. I got a last one or two. So they're just small, minor ones. If they ever bring us a Fatalis fight in the game, do a crossover with Yu-Gi-Oh! And make it a Blue Eyes White Dragon.
I was gonna say that.
That
Yu-Gi-Oh's perfect, and then the
Did
armor you get is Dark Magician.
Oh, I was
Nice.
gonna say Kaiba.
Oh, Kaiba works too.
Yeah.
Did I tell you guys that? So I used to play tournament Magic, but I went to one regional for Yu-Gi-Oh.
Oh, I'm sorry for
Did
that.
I tell you guys about this story?
No.
It's funny. So my friend who got me into sort of the tournament scene for trading card games, he's more of a Yu-Gi-Oh player, and he was like, "Hey, I need someone to go with me. I already have a deck. I'll just sign you up. We'll go together. We're going to go to Columbus, which is about an hour and a half away from here, and we're going to go play in this regional tournament. And it's like you got free packs and that kind of stuff. It's going to be really cool." All right, and I was like, "Cool. I know nothing about Yu-Gi-Oh."
Oh, jeez.
So we had a what do you call it? A cram session the night before. I learned it in one night. He gave me a deck to use that was like super out of the meta and super old, but he just wanted someone to go with, right? So I went there and I literally asked every single time someone put a card down. I literally asked, "Is that Blue Eyes White Dragon?"
Oh my god.
People hated me. They were like, "Dude, who the F is this guy? How did he get here? Why is he here?" I was like, I'm playing some bird deck, and I'm asking everyone if they're a Blue Eyes White Dragon. I did a couple times. I said on my own card, and I'm like, "Is that Blue Eyes White Dragon?" No, it clearly says such and such bird on there. I'm like, okay, just checking.
And the last one I had was, but just quick back to Final Fantasy.
Mhm.
Just put Zixion to summon. It is literally a Kirin. It is like by definition what Kirin is based on.
Yeah, which is called a Kirin.
Yeah, the mythological Kirin is what
Yeah.
Zixion is. Like, and it uses thunder. Just do it.
Yeah, it would probably just be like a reskin or that kind of thing.
Like,
Um,
you don't have to change the moves or the attacks or anything. It's just a Kirin.
yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait to see if we actually get a Roshi Kirin. I actually really like a Roshi Kirin, which
I
if
would
no
love
one
that.
knows, that's the ice one. It's the Kirin that does ice attacks.
I think its name means like wind coming down the mountain or something like that.
I have no idea. That's why I'm never going to get like kanji tattoo or something. It'll probably be the one that says stupid or something like that if I ever get one. I am not good. I know what fire looks like. It literally looks like you're drawing a campfire. So yeah, that's it. That's it for me. Cool. So I guess we'll move on to the weather balloon, unless anyone has any other monster ideas.
No, I'm good.
Last note, I just realized Xeno'jiiva basically is a blue eyes white dragon. Is a big white dragon who jacks with giant beams of light.
Yeah, that could be like a reskin. Like that'd be so cool. I hope the PC like modding community can work with it. I don't think they will be able to, but that'd be really cool.
Oh yeah, we can always hope. Hello and welcome back to our channel today. We are here to bring you the habits of the strange birds, the young cuckoo and the blue young cuckoo. They are very, very sensitive birds. We have to be very careful. Luckily, just giving you all an update, we did recover from the horrific balloon crash last week, where everyone is fine except for those that died. So, today's topic is about the Yankuku, and its extremely original variant, the blue Yankuku. I will let you guess what's different about them. So the Yankuku is a large bird wyvern. It's been around since the first Monster Hunter, correct?
Yes.
All right. I always want to run things by you because you were actually there, and I was not.
Yeah.
So they have a giant beak and a large kind of fan-like crest on their head, and that can be broken and should be broken whenever you get the chance.
It's actually its ears.
Is that its ears?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. And it has hard pink scales or, surprise, blue scales, depending which one you're fighting. They are known to eat the worst and most dangerous monster in the entire land, conchus. And occasionally they will actually throw them at you as well, which is just terrible.
I never got behind that meme. Never did.
What, the evil conchus?
Yeah.
So if anybody doesn't know what a conchu is, it's just an armored pill bug, and they just wander around and they roll around and they roll into you, and it's really annoying because they make you trip. And if you try to hit them with a weapon, you bounce. It doesn't matter what you hit them with. It can be blue sharpness, it can be white or purple sharpness, and you will bounce off of it. And occasionally in 4U, they would attach onto the outsides of monsters like armor. So you could be swinging at a monster and accidentally hit a conchu instead and then die. So there's a reason that people hate them. However, back to our Yankuku friends. Both of them are known to attack with fire weapons. Or fire attacks. Usually breath attacks. Kind of lobbed. I don't think they ever actually do a breath, like a sprayed breath. It's always just a ball of fire, right?
Yeah, there's no flamethrower. Unless you're talking about Frontier, which I don't know.
I haven't gotten to that yet. They're always weak to water, and here's one of the major differences between the normal and the blue Yankuku. One's weak to ice, one weak to thunder. Ooh. I keep joking about this because there really isn't that much of a difference. The blue Yankuku is slightly faster. And it can there is in fact a hardcore version that exists for Frontier. Its only ability is it can glide faster and it can hover slightly in place. Unlike our Gendrome, who got like 5 status elements and can Farcaster you away and all sorts of cool stuff. Nope.
No, you're talking about the Velocidrome.
Oh yeah, yes. All right, sorry.
Yeah,
the Velocidrome, who can do all these cool things.
Farcaster breath.
But no, Yankuku gets to fly slightly better, and it does have a fireball that makes a wall of fire. But really, it's not that exciting of a monster. And I hate to rip on a monster, but I hate fighting Yankukus because early on they're really annoying. Because when you're getting used to the game, they have pretty fast attacks, and their beak peck always goes further than you think it's going to go. Always.
I think it's like 8 pecs. I think it's something insane. It's basically like it's like don't block. Whatever it is you have, you're gonna run out of stamina.
Also, his goofy run. Like, I want everybody to try this at home. Put your arms up. Make sure your elbows are even with your shoulders, and your hands are up, and then just run forward while swinging your upper body left and right as much as possible. You'll now realize you look like an idiot, and it looks exactly like Yankutku.
And you've given yourself whiplash.
Yes. It's not that great a monster. I even looked through its weapons trying to find a redeeming factor, and there isn't. The only redeeming factor I could find about the Yankutku is that some of its weapons end up getting turned into Yangaruga weapons, which is a very different story, because Yangaruga is excellent.
So, I'm gonna refute you on one case.
Oh, what's this?
The armor for Yankutku is actually very decent to build as one of your first sets that you build outside of the hunter armor.
It does have attack up and health up from most of the variations.
Very good, very early armor set to build.
I would say never make it in G rank though, because it looks like the G rank version has attack up small, detect, and minus 20 defense.
Oh, jeez.
We call that man mode or woman mode.
Oh, sorry, that's also the high rank version too. Negative 20 defense stats.
It was actually a really good starter set in Monster Hunter 1 too.
Really? Did it?
Yeah.
Was it one of the ones that had an ability in Monster Hunter 1?
All the full armor sets had abilities. You just didn't know what they were until you equipped them.
Do you happen to know what it was?
I think it definitely had health increased. I think definitely. That's a funny way to say it. I'm pretty sure it had health increase. Again, we're talking 13, 14 years ago. Don't really remember that well. More like 12 and 13 years ago. Because I would have built it twice. Because I had to start over in Monster Hunter. But I also made it in Freedom Unite. I also made it in Freedom 2. Because, it's... Cuckoo has been a staple of the series for a long time. If you would have asked me 5 years ago, maybe, what was the second flagship behind Rathalos of Monster Hunter, it would have been Cuckoo.
Really?
Huh.
Yeah. Cuckoo is a very popular monster. If you go out there and look at fan art, especially from Japan, you're going to see mostly, don't get me wrong here, they're interesting monsters, but you're going to see a lot of Kazoo, more Kazoo than you thought you would see, and you're going to see a lot of Cuckoo. Cuckoo is a really big fan favorite, including me. I've mentioned before, it is the monster that made me fall in love with Monster Hunter. It was the first big monster I saw in the game, aside from the cutscenes.
And here I have been just shitting all over it.
But that's kind of how fourth generation people were. Or even third gens. They came in and they go, oh, this monster's awesome. This monster's awesome. It's the effect that we're getting now with the fivers, as I'll call them. We'll just go by the generations because it's how Monster World kind of does it with the fleets. So a lot of people look at Devil Joe, right, and they're like, I don't get it. Like it's just not as good Beetlejuice. Like I don't understand. That's because like we talked about last 3 episodes, Devil Joe. Devil Joe comes in at a different point in the game, right? So by the time you fought Cuckoo, he's been built up to you. Everyone's talked about Cuckoo. Everyone's talking about how much they love Cuckoo. And you fight him, and he's an easy fight. And For You did not do this well because he wasn't part of the initial progression. He was only locked behind like a guild quest. And if you didn't go down that path, you came back from destroying a high rank online or even G rank, and you come down to the Cuckoo, and it's like, what is this pink rubber chicken? And he sort of suffers from that sort of introducing a low rank monster later in the game. Same thing with Volvidon. Same thing with Iodrome. There's sort of deceptively bad monsters because you're introduced to them too late in the game's progression. The typical line of progression, I should say.
Right.
In the originals, he was not. In the originals, he was a decent challenge because you had crap before you fought him. You were not. He was your sometimes for weapons. He was your first green sharpness weapon. That kind of deal. So it's a very different monster when you come at it from somewhere like my angle on the game. I'm not saying he's the best monster ever. He's not one of my favorites. I like him mostly for a nostalgia factor. I'll admit that, but I think he has a place in the game's world. Bird wyverns kind of always do, and he's sort of that first bird wyvern. He's essentially the equivalent to Kutku. This day and age is going to be your Puke Puke.
Right.
He's the first, non-raptor bird that you're going to see, which bird wyverns took a real big backseat in Monster Hunter World, because it kind of feels weird that Puke Puke is labeled as a bird wyvern, and it doesn't make a lot of sense to people because like, well, that's why is he a bird wyvern? Well, you got the two raptors, so essentially bird wyverns.
Yeah, he seems more like a flying wyvern to me, but that's just
right. And so would Kutku, and so would Gypsurus, and that kind of thing.
At least Kutku has a beak. I can understand that.
It's true. Yeah, I don't know what they were thinking with Puke Puke, and he's got more of the model of the kazoo, which is even weirder.
I have found one redeeming factor about the blue Yankuku.
Yeah,
there's a hammer that you can make out of it. It translates in English as the Violence Hammer, which I think is just a wonderful name.
Now, the hammers for Kutku have always been interesting because they are just the Kutku's beak.
Yep.
Sometimes with the ears.
Its light bow gun is literally its face.
Yeah, it's literally its face with a barrel sticking out of its mouth. It's like the weapon designs are pretty decent. For Kutku.
You did remind me. For anybody who has Generations or for you, go make the Kutku bow gun and then fire it, and then realize why you will never want to shoot it ever again.
Does it do the monster roar?
Yeah, every single time it fires, does that. It's like, oh god, it's
kind of like the kazoo hunting horn.
Yeah, except the kazoo hunting horn at least gets the cool wails on occasion, but
yeah. It's always funny to me when a weapon makes a noise. And you're like, where did that come from? Like, I love the teddy bear hammer. The teddy bear hammer is one of my favorite weapons in the history of Monster Hunter because it just makes that squeaky noise like a squeaky toy when you hit with it.
Yes.
It's like, beep, 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 beep.
I always love the corn popper for the same reason.
Yeah. Favorite gun lance. Corn popper is literally a corn, a still in the husk corn cob with what's the shield? Is it just more
it's a
corn?
Farmer's hat?
A farmer's hat. That's right.
The straw hat.
Love that weapon.
Yeah, I do love the gag weapons. Just there's always great selections. But yeah, I hate to say that I don't have too much to talk about the Yankukus because they're honestly not that exciting. Their cousin is absolutely exciting, and I'm not sure when I'm going to be talking about him, but, be ready.
I just spent 10 minutes explaining why he's exciting.
I understand you did. I still don't understand, because I still don't find him that exciting.
No, it's fine. Yeah.
My first game I actually played was For You, but I got introduced to this series and got heavily into it through you watching videos online. So all that third generation monster stuff is like what got me excited about Monster Hunter. And then when they have like Yankuku, which is this goofy thing, I'm just like, why is this? But knowing the backstory, I can kind of understand. I just don't agree.
Yeah. It's so I mean, it comes from an older design, right? And I think, I mean, the biggest reason I would say that he came back in 4U, and I think he was not in Generations, or was he? I don't know. I don't remember Generations
Probably.
as well as I do other games. But um, because he was a fan favorite, right? Because he is there for the nostalgia factor. And I would honestly say that a lot of people would have probably considered him a flagship of the series. Obviously not now. He's not here. I'd like to say that Diablos is kind of a flagship of the series too, but they keep leaving him out of certain games. The only two monsters that have survived every game, as in been in every title, is Rathian and Rathalos now.
So I will say it's an earlier design, but that's also because Monster Hunter 1 didn't have that many monsters. You had the drones, the cuckoos. I almost said Garuga, but that's not actually true.
Not till G. He was in first gen.
He was
in the end of first gen.
Yeah, he was in Freedom.
Mm-hmm. Well, G, which is Freedom is G.
Yeah.
So.
Gypsros, which is a different Yonkaku.
No, it's not.
I know. I hate Gypsros.
It's the turkey to the chicken.
You have the Wraths, Kezu, both the rock monsters, so Basarios, Gravios, Monoblos, Diablos, Cephadrome Plesioths, Kirin, Lao Shenglong, and then 2 Vitalises. That's it. There was nothing else.
The original didn't have the second Fatales.
Oh, didn't have Crimson?
No. Crimson came in too. I do believe.
I was looking at the monster list for Freedom because they don't actually have a monster list for Monster Hunter 1.
That was probably G then. That was probably in G, the second Fatales, Crimson Fatales.
I will say this. This is just a fun thing about the first Monster, just reminded me of old designs. And it still shocks me to this day that Sword and Shield was it. Dual Swords didn't exist until it came to America and Europe.
Yep.
That wasn't the thing. And even then, Dual Swords you had to make from a Sword and Shield.
Yep.
You
had to.
I didn't even know there wasn't a longsword in that game. Holy cow.
Yeah, the first longsword is actually a great sword called the Eager Cleaver. It was a lightning element metal great sword. I actually used it. It was actually pretty decent against Rathalos.
Hold on, I think the Eager Cleaver is actually in Generations as well.
It is. It's one of the most iconic longswords because of its origins as a great sword, and then it became a longsword.
Huh.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I mean, there's so many things that Monster Hunter 1 hinted at that you would have blown your mind. Monster Hunter 1 technically had a gun lance. The Undertaker was a lance that had talked about the old technology, and then the Undertaker became a version of, at least stylistically, looked like the Undertaker, became a gun lance.
Huh.
There was all sorts of throwbacks. The only one that we got a hint at was a gun hammer, which never happened. It was the Deadeye revolver. It was literally think of a revolver barrel with a hammer on the back, like a flintlock hammer. When you hit it, it would ignite it and it would do fire damage out of one of the revolver chambers.
That's cool.
And then people thought the gun hammer was going to be a thing, but it wasn't. It is in what is the
For You and maybe Generations.
No.
Oh
no, there's an actual gun hammer in
Dauntless.
Dauntless, yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting.
All right.
Yeah, Monster Hunter history lesson there at the end.
Yeah, sorry, it's my favorite game series. I love talking about it.
We always talk about it. One question I did have for you, last question, because I was again looking at the weapons list. Even as early as Monster Hunter 1, they had a difference between a light bowgun and a heavy bowgun. But
they did. They were separate weapons.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is like they were separate, but the idea of having 2 swords was foreign concept. I just think that's interesting.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe it was a time restriction. Yeah. Do you think about the origins of why the game was made? It was made to showcase how to play games online to Capcom.
Oh yeah, that's right. It was one of their big titles that they were going to be like, this is the newest thing we're going to put a lot of money into.
Right. So, I mean, Monster Hunter in itself was a shot in the dark experiment on how to play games online.
I think, wasn't it between Monster Hunter, a racing game, and some third one that I can't remember?
Resident Evil Outbreak.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, it was a survival sort of pseudo open world Resident Evil that when you died you became a zombie and had to attack your friends. It also had the plant zombies in it.
Huh.
And a zombie elephant.
I wouldn't have minded playing that, but I'm glad Monster Hunter is the one that got it.
Yeah, I think Monster Hunter is the only surviving series out of those projects. So. Thank you, Hunters, for joining us today. This is Fortuan. You can catch me at Fortuan on Twitter. And where can we catch... Oh, sorry, I almost missed it. See you next quest. Where will you be, Ariel?
You can find me on Twitter at DreadPirateRada. Lobo, what cryptic, mysterious message are you giving to our listeners this week?
So I will actually be enjoying a nice spring festival in Monster Hunter this week. I'm going to be trying to relax, not get any more danger, not get assaulted by any more monsters. No promises, but I think it'll be a relaxing week.
I think we're going to get assaulted by Banabras. All that Banabra armor. I hope it is not a quest.
Oh, will be assaulted by fashion, sir?
Assaulted by your eyes are... Thank you, Hunters, for listening today. You can catch us on SoundCloud or any past episodes on Google Drive Download or YouTube.